Well, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about the DXY today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. The sheer shame of this video is that most people don't find content like this appealing, but this is the bread and butter, man. This is where the truth lies in a lot of the details for crypto and for the overall markets itself. This is, in other words, in my opinion, a very important video. I don't make it for the views. I'll probably get less than 200 views on this video. At any rate, probably less than 500 too, right? Which is less than what I get on average, right? And I'm okay with that. I don't care how popular this video is going to be. I think it's important. That's why we're talking about it, all right? So if that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? So the DXY, somebody asked in the comments, I would give you a shout out. I actually spent like 5 minutes trying to find you in the comments, but dude, there's too many comments. I got 11,500 subscribers. There are too many comments. I'm grateful for it, guys, but it's a lot to go through. Somebody was saying that I should talk about this today, and I have been planning on talking about it actually, but I wanted to give you a shout out. Anyways, I'm sorry, but make yourself known in the comments. I'll give you a shout out on the next one maybe. But if we're looking at the DXY here, we had a bit of a pump yesterday. Look at this, guys. The DXY moved up 1.1%. That's huge for the DXY to move. I mean, obviously it's huge. Look at the candle. Look at how big that candle is compared to anything we've seen, right? I don't know about you guys, but to me, this right here, this look where we come all the way up like this, and you do this to me looks a lot like the beginnings of an M is what it looks like. A bat pattern, a bullish bat pattern if we were to be completely fair. But bullish bat is only bullish down here or lower, right? It's only bullish at the lows. It's not bullish here. Definitely not at the bat ear itself if this is to be the top of this pattern. If we're looking at the RSI, all you've got is this like kind of slew of lower highs. You do have a slightly higher high right here, but I don't know if it's good enough. It still feels kind of like bearish divergence to me. You look at the weekly RSI, you do have bearish divergence on the weekly, which is more significant anyways. If we take the overall high to the overall low here, right? And for those of you that don't understand too, maybe you're like, why am I watching this video? What's the purpose of the DXY? The DXY, you guys, is the US dollar currency index. When this thing does well, when it's in an expansive territory like this, when it's doing stuff like this, crypto stock markets, they tend to be risk off. They tend to be moving slower. They don't move up, right? Because it's the dollar index. If stocks and cryptos are priced in the dollar, when the dollar is strong, stocks and crypto are probably not going to be as strong. When the dollar is weak and it's dropping off, that's when stocks and crypto have a chance to run. Normally, not always. It's not 100% that way. Bitcoin can move up while the DXY moves up. We've seen that thing happen literally since September, right? That's literally been the name of the game because Bitcoin bottomed out in August. It found its low in August. DXY found its low not shortly afterwards. They've been moving up together, but it does make it harder for Bitcoin to move up. In fact, Bitcoin does make its best moves when the DXY moves down. And let's do that real quick before we get further into this analysis, okay? We're going to compare it to BTC here. Any aspiring technicians out there, technical analysts, you click that plus button up there, okay? This is how you compare things. And I like to do it this way. You don't have to do it this way, but I like to do new price scale. There's value in all of these new pain, same price. There's value in all of them, right? But I like to have it overlapped. I click it in log. It's very important to remember log over here. It's the same settings, right? This is your price. Every time you compare, just look. There's new price scales, right? Here's the second Bitcoin chart price scale. Here's the first one. Here's the DXY price scale, right? And I can move them all like that. I'm only going over that for anybody that wants to see or do technical analysis. I would assume the people who watch videos like this, you're probably more involved than the average investor anyway. So that's why I don't care to take little detours like that. I don't mind taking little detours. I guess I do care to take a detour. I don't mind it is what I should say. But looking at this overall thing, I gotta squeeze it so that it fits right in with the charts here. You kind of got to grab them and make it work, right? So this is Bitcoin's all-time history index, right? Versus the DXY. All I was trying to say, all that this was inspired by was that when the DXY moves up, sometimes Bitcoin moves up too, and that's great. We've seen that happen before, right? Here the DXY is moving up, Bitcoin's moving up during that same period. It's great, but largely it's hard for Bitcoin to keep up at the same pace as the DXY, and the longer it persists, the more likely Bitcoin will probably enter a bear market or something. The DXY here moving up with Bitcoin a little bit right here, but then Bitcoin, it kind of chills. The DXY kind of chills. And then when the DXY starts to really tank, that's when Bitcoin really starts to take off. So yes, it can do good work with the DXY moving up. It can still move up while the DXY is moving up. It can even move up a decent bit while the DXY is kind of moving sideways. But we do its best work when the DXY is moving down. We do its best work when the DXY is moving down. Need I go back to further cycles? I don't need to, but let's do it anyways. Bitcoin does its best work when the DXY is moving down. It does its best work. Actually, that time it was kind of moving up actually at the same time. That's the one I should have got quit while I was ahead, right? But anyways guys, most of the time Bitcoin does its best work when the DXY is moving down. Here's something I want to leave you with. I'm not going to leave you with it like ending the video here, but I want to leave this segment of the video with this thought. If the DXY was doing this, if it was moving up here and Bitcoin was moving up here, how much faster do you think the pace for Bitcoin's growth might be if the DXY tops off and it starts to move down from here? That's a great question to ask, especially when going into the next part of this video. And man, I love videos like this. I really do. It's a real shame that most people don't, because videos like this are great. And with that question that I just asked, right, how fast do you think Bitcoin is going to go? This next part should get you excited, because we're about to talk about the DXY moving down, okay? And the DXY moving down, if you're American, by the way, you want a weaker dollar, right? You want a weaker dollar. You don't want a strong dollar. A strong dollar makes, and you want a strong dollar fundamentally, right? In the world reserve currency, it makes your currency more expensive, sure, of course, but you don't want it to just be growing all the time, right? That will demean your assets. And rich people, wealthy people in the world, they don't hold dollars, right? They hold assets. So the wealthy people, you don't, if you want to be wealthy, you don't want a strong dollar. I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense. I'm going off on a whole tangent here. What I really want to say is, I think that we're at an area that we're probably going to find resistance and come back down out of this whole kind of consolidation phase here. This is the highest we've been. If we look at this high to low here, we're just below the 618. We're just below the golden ratio, okay? We could go a little bit higher. We have a day and 20 hours left in this week. We could go a little bit higher on the DXY. We don't have to. It is common enough to fall just short of the 618 sometimes, especially on big, well-recognized assets like this. And that actually is a bearish thing. Whenever you don't reach your 618, 69, that generally implies there's so much bearishness. You're getting close to your golden ratio, but you can't even get there, which is like the minimum thing you would actually be able to do is get to that. If you can't even close this gap between there, it's so bearish. It's compelled by so much downside that likely we would not just stop at the 382, but at least go to the 236 and probably all the way back down to the base of this range. You guys, if Bitcoin is in a bullish phase right now, and maybe I should compare the Bitcoin chart again just real quick, right? If it's in a bullish phase right now, man, the DXY tanked right here, and the Bitcoin didn't do anything. I was looking for that. Here it tanked, and Bitcoin really did take off there, right? That's all I'm trying to say is I think that if we did this here with this move up, I think that we've got more to go, and probably at a faster, more tenacious rate when the dominance does drop. And I do expect it to drop from here pretty soon. Did I delete my indicators? No. Okay, cool. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. There we go. So the RSI, weekly bearish divergence, not a great look. Daily, it's got this overall diverging look, but technically, no, it's not bearish divergence, to be fair. If we look at the 3 hour, you got pretty overbought, hitting the 89 read on your RSI. That does allow, in my opinion, for you to go a little bit higher. But again, a little bit higher would be the 618. So even if the DXY moves up from here, it's probably likely not going to be much. If we look at this overall high to low, that 1272 right there at 108, right? That lines up very well with this golden ratio from the high to the low here. Right, of this fib, of this more resounding fib. We can look at it on the weekly, right? 1272 of the relative range lining up right there at the golden ratio. 1618 lining up at the top end of this range. So even if we do move up more, it's not going to be by much, and likely we would pull all the way back down. And you'd have a very big sell-off in the DXY. And probably you wouldn't stop there. You'd probably at least go to the 236, if not lower, right? I really would expect you go to the bottoms of this range, if not even below the bottoms of this range on this next move down. And I think that's going to ignite, I really do think that's going to ignite the crypto markets and the stock markets and everything, man. Like it really is. The only caveat to this would be if it doesn't, if I'm wrong, if we don't stop here and the DXY begins to show that it's in an expansive phase, you guys, that could be a big problem for like everything. And I don't think it's going to happen. But truthfully, the DXY could keep going up all the way to 112. before that worry becomes a reality. We could see a move all the way up here, and it's still completely possible to go all the way back down to the end of this range, right? If we get above 113, whatever this is, 113 read on the DXY, that could be a big problem. Okay, so we don't want to see that. And the best way to not see that is probably not to get any weeks to close above the golden ratio, right? We don't want to do that. Or if we do, at least then the next week has to come out. We want to find resistance here, okay? That's very important. And whether it starts now, whether we go up a little bit more to finish out this week and then it starts, whether we go up a little bit more and then it starts next week, however it looks, we need to find resistance here. Or here, where we're at now. And I think we will. I think looking at the charts, it looks like we will. The 1 hour looks a little bit bullish, to be fair. The 3 hour looks a little bit bullish, to be fair, as well. So I would expect that we do move up probably today. But soon, probably by the end of this week, we will top off and then begin to move down. And I think that will ignite the next pump in the overall crypto ecosystem, right? Once the DXY tops off, so that could mean essentially that, you know, today's for crypto, it's Thursday and Friday. It's still Wednesday for most people in the Western Hemisphere. But for crypto, it is Thursday. I would think this day period on the DXY and this day period and the next day period, this Thursday and Friday, will be a little chill for crypto maybe. Maybe they recover a little bit, of course, but we're not like going to break out and see new all-time highs. But this weekend, and next week, because the DXY is not open over the weekend, right? It opens up next week. I would expect if it's not open up over the weekend and by the end of this week we top off, if next week we're going to move down, we could see crypto really take off this weekend. And if it's not this weekend, sometime next week when this DXY drops. But I feel like I'm just repeating myself. I feel like I'm a broken record now. I'm stuck in a loop. So I'm going to end it there. I don't really know if I have anything else that I want to say. Let's pull up some ribbons. Let's look at this because this is always fun to do. Let's just see. Monthly ribbon, of course, is bullish. Look at the trend. It's been bullish for the last 10 years. Of course it is. Weekly here, very inconsistent. You know, this, and you get that with chop, right? You get that with this kind of stuff. It's less respected. Whenever it's expanded upon like this, when it's in an expansive phase, you get more respect on it. But when it's so contracted like this, you don't normally respect it. So I'm not, even though yes, you're crossing up here, I'm not counting on that to mean anything, right? Just like this cross down didn't mean anything, this cross up didn't mean anything. You know, actually, this cross up here happened very near the high. This cross down here happened basically at the low. That cross up there happened basically at the high. This cross down here happened basically at the low, but not quite there. You know, we just crossed up. We're probably basically at the high, you guys. That's kind of my expectation based off of that. But looking at the daily, very bullish day, looking good for sure. And then the 1 hour, very, very bullish as well. So anyways, anytime you get less than a day, the EMA ribbon's not really that reliable. Any person who's trying to use the EMA ribbon out there, it's not really that reliable under a day. Just know that going forward. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I did it again. I'm not going to end the video. I'm not going to end the video. There's one last thing I want to do because I can feel the question in the air for anybody that's still here. Is there a possibility that we are in an expansive phase? Is it a possibility that we could see this in the midst of the bull cycle? What would that mean? First off, that would be bad. Okay, that'd be very bad. We don't want that. But second off, yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. But since Bitcoin, or since the USD, the DXY has come out of its long downtrend, lower lows, lower highs, all that stuff, since it came out of that long kind of pattern, we've been in an uptrend here. Okay. What we've had is a run up right here. We had an expansive move, and then we consolidated from there for about, let's see, 69 months until we began our next expansive move. And then we expanded here, and then we consolidated again for about another 75 months, 69, 75, that's pretty close together, right? A half year, what's a half year amidst 75 and 69 months, man? That's not that big of a difference. Consolidated for a very long time before we began our next expansive move, right? We had an expansive move there. As of now, we've only been in this consolidation phase for 27 months. Now, that's grossly under the expectations that we have set out for these consolidation phases. Could this one be shorter? Sure, but 35 months, that put us in August, right? That's like half of what we saw, not even half of what we saw last time. It's barely half of this one, right? Could it be 46 months? That's still really short, right? Even if it was like 60 months, which is a pretty standard, I think, deviation away from this. That still puts us out in 2027, 2028, right? I just don't see this consolidation phase ending at 27 months. So yes, it is possible that we could be going through our next expansive phase. I just don't think it's likely. I don't think it's likely, right? We began this expansive phase. We were very close to the 123 moving average here on the monthly. We began this expansive phase. We were very close to the 123 moving average. And we might seem close now, but I want this thing to be touching. And that's why I think we're going back to the bottom. That in that time, the DXY will probably get close to here, right? I don't think that we'll be starting our next expansive phase once it does touch here, but I'm just saying we would at least have to touch it before we had any consideration. Actually, I would think touching it this soon after hitting an expansive phase might be a bearish thing. But anyways, I'm going off the deep end here, so I'm done talking. If you guys like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.